Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Will, and I'm joined by my co-host over here, the Grease. Say hello, Grease.
I'm amped. I'm daggum amped.
Well, we're late.
Well,
we are late.
Well, we're not late.
That's fair.
We've literally sat here since last week.
The man of the hour is late, and that's fine because he normally shows up fashionably late.
Right.
But he didn't have the right browser. We had to walk him through how to download something.
Right. He literally downloaded it, and then he said, I can't find it.
He said deny access to his microphone, so we had to do all this stuff.
We had to redo it, and he's so upset that we haven't brought him on yet because
Mama Grease did better at joining live in costume as you than Dixon has currently. So just want to throw that out there.
She really did. Well, I'm excited about tonight.
I am too.
What are you looking forward to most?
Praying that you stay
focused
within the guardrails I gave you. Yeah.
You did say there's two things that you have to do.
No, I said there are three things you have to do.
Well, and then I started naming them, and you were like, okay, there's four things.
Yeah.
And then I named another one. You're like,
there's five things. Yep.
I feel like there's more.
Yeah.
We're going to get to it. You're upset I didn't wear a podcast shirt.
Yeah, But Drew Bolin already said Grease wins best freaking shirt on YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when you're ranked number 2,
you're always number 2 in my eyes. All right, so we've got a guest tonight, and Dixon is a good friend of ours. He's been gracious to us for a long time. He's let us crash his inn many times. He has let us drink his fine whiskey. And so we're like, hey, we've got some questions. We had some chats while we were at Whiskey Weekend Batch 3, and there are some unresolved questions that arose that weekend. And we're like, hey, would you come on the show, come on live, so that you can't edit it or ask us to edit it later, and share with us some things. So should we bring Dixon on?
Depends on if his camera and microphone work.
Let's see if this works, folks.
Yeah, we're just going to see.
There he is. Look at that bolo guy.
Oh my God. What is that?
He's a good looking dude.
What do you mean I dressed up?
Why are you wearing Dixon? We're doing a corporate event in 2 weeks, and they literally want us to wear like all black. And I told them no. I was like, I'm not doing that.
You always only wear black. You wear black.
No.
Black
they want
t-shirt.
they want us to wear like dress black,
like waiters.
I'm assuming they want us to look like bar staff, and we're not bar staff.
Shut it down.
We're not.
Dixon, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Glad that you got everything situated.
Well, do you?
Yeah, you know what? Let's just let that go. Can we just let that go?
Yeah,
I feel like there's two sides to every story, but let's just let that one go.
Okay, that's fair. We will. We'll let it go because we have something we want to start off the night with, and this is something that you started way back at really March, April of 2020. You started doing the Whiskey in a Box challenge on Instagram, rather. And we loved it. It took off. A lot of people did it. You have a custom box now that you use when you still do these Whiskey in a Box things. So basically, it's a game, blind.
Are you talking about the cardboard box with just the white piece
of
paper?
No, whatever, man. Stop
you clearly don't watch them. He has a wooden custom box.
No, it was awesome. This guy came. We did a tasting at the end together, and he was like, "I love your Whiskey in a Box videos," and I was like, "That is awesome, thank you." And he said, "But your box sucks." And I was like,
"Well, it's just a box."
I mean, that's fair. It's a cardboard box with a piece of paper taped to it. And he was like, I'm a woodworker. Can I make you a box? And I was like, yeah. So now I have I'm going to mess this up, but he made me a Whiskey in the Box out of, white oak. It really is super cool. And like has all the hashtag Whiskey in a Box and at the Old Owl on it and everything. And I can't throw it anymore.
Grease should prep before an interview. Like that's why we don't do a lot of interviews, because he's like, please use a cardboard box. Look, you clearly haven't watched anything he's done since August of last year.
I stopped once Dixon pulled out orange curacao.
Oh, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
And
Just-
he thought it was a rye, right?
I don't know
Yeah.
what he thought it was. It wasn't orange
All right.
Curacao.
So what we're gonna do
Not
tonight
easy.
is we're going to do. I selected something for Grease. He
Grease,
selected.
for your waiter party, if you want to borrow this bolo tie, you can.
I
Take 'em
do,
up.
dude. I will say this much, man. You're cruising. I mean, you will not dethrone Fred Minnick for sure, as far as just neck jewelry. But that's getting pretty daggum close.
No, I mean, I don't feel like the ascot is neck jewelry.
I don't know. It looks pretty kingly.
It's fabric.
I mean,
You know what
yeah,
jewelry
like
is.
this is, you know, I'm just kind of, I'm on the podcast. I'm kind of showing out here, you know. I mean, I've got out my finest,
Yeah.
you know. I mean,
People tend to do that when they come on our show.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
It's really
So I picked something for Grease.
Yes.
He's got it in front of him. He picked something for me, and then Dixon, you had someone prepare something for you, right? There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it your kids?
no, I one of the guys at the bar at the tavern put this together and put it in a little thing, and I brought it home, and
Right.
so.
All
All right.
right.
I'm going to say this. We have a lot to get to tonight. So this is going to go pretty fast. We're
Yeah, we're
all
just
going to
doing
do
this
this
to break
at
the
the
ice,
same time.
Make
and-
sure Dixon is drinking something,
Right.
so
We
we
gotta
can get
get
the
him-
juicy stuff out of
Yeah,
it.
no, that's important.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
I've heard if you eat pickles before this, like the alcohol absorbs more.
Do you
heard that?
do this normally or just when I'm around?
What do
like,
you mean?
Say, like,
Dude,
say
yes.
the most random things.
both and. This smells good, Grease.
This is great.
Whoa, man. You poured me some high proof stuff. This is a high rye bourbon, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I'm real bad at turkey in Heaven Hill right now, but I think this is Buffalo Trace product.
Dixon, what are you getting on yours?
That was my way of getting context clues of Will's facial expressions.
This is real like middle of the road. There's a little weird kind of malty thing on the back end. I mean, this out of the gate, this one screams some sort of 1792 Barton-y.
So mine has a lot of. I'm getting a lot of spice on mine, so I think it's a high rye bourbon. High proof, I'd say 115 to 120. Yeah, finish is long.
I'm wondering
This has this weird butter popcorny kind of thing going here.
Yeah, I don't get that on mine, Dixon.
Oh, sorry. What do you get? Maybe I should get what you get.
Yeah, you should. I get a little bit of nuttiness, some earthiness. I get some age on mine.
based on proof and complexity, and oakiness, and on brand, I'm going with Confiscated.
Oh, okay.
Kentucky Out Confiscated.
Okay. I'm going with.
I mean, you're just all over the map.
I'm going with I'm going with Knob Creek, a store pick of Knob Creek. I think it's 10-ish years old, 10 to 11 years old, 120 proof, obviously, in Knob Creek. That's my guess.
Solid. Dixon.
So I want to show you my notes.
He does it real deal.
Are you
If I
serious?
can, yeah. I don't know if you can read this or not. But on the nose, I get, why does Grease's face look so puffy?
I've lost 47 pounds.
On the palate, my notes say Will really is a poor man's Brad Pitt. And on the finish, I'm getting I wonder what Marsha is doing tonight. So
Marsha.
those are my notes.
I actually wonder
What
what
does that
Marsha's
lead you
doing
to
like
think it
every
is,
night.
though? Like,
Yeah.
with
So
those
if I were
notes?
to, I think this is, if I had to guess, I would think this is like a the 1792 single barrel.
Okay.
We just got some more of that. That's my guess.
All right, Grease.
All right.
I'm going to reveal for you first.
Okay, you reveal for me
I have
first.
Grease's. This is Grease's box that I'm about to pull this bottle out of. You said it was Kentucky All Confiscated.
Yes,
it is Maker's Mark FAE 01.
That drinks. That
110.3.
That drinks about 15 proof less.
Yeah,
I'm dead
Nailed
serious.
it. Nailed it.
All right,
Nailed
Grease,
it.
show me what I had. Oh,
He had the new Jack Daniels 10-year-old coming
go.
in it. So not that high proof, 97 proof.
Yeah, no,
So, but it's your first pour of the night.
Yeah, no,
but you were right on yours.
Yeah,
it's your first.
10 years old.
And something interesting, you would have picked up on the charcoal mellowing, and you did it. And that's what I've been saying about this pour is that this oak,
it doesn't taste like Jack Daniels.
Exactly right.
Oaky.
The more maturity on these barrels kind of mellows the mellow out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I hear you, Dixon. You want to reveal yours?
1792 single barrel.
Yeah, it's got to be. Oh, Old Forester 1920.
Wow, that's higher proof than you thought, probably.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, you got to find it's small victories. You got to take the small victories. So I feel like it's in the ballpark, right? Maybe ish.
Yeah, it's in Kentucky.
It's not like
it's a Kentucky bourbon.
But I think the mash bill is very similar. The profile is similar-ish. The proof may be off.
I get some of the same notes off of Barton and Brown Forman whiskey.
Said confiscated in Maker's Mark.
It was pretty good.
It's
pretty
fine.
good. All right, Dixon, now that we've got you liquored up, keep drinking. Something hit our market this weekend.
And by something, you mean what?
In Nashville. So first of all, before we get to, we teased out that tonight we're going to talk about what's coming next and everything. You agreed to do this, and we're going to get to some of that. But this hit in select stores in the Nashville area over the weekend. We were able to acquire a bottle of this.
It probably came in Friday.
And
for being honest.
So this is the Kentucky Owl Batch 11. Now, we saw your fireside chat that you did on Instagram, and we also wanted to clarify a few things because there were some vagaries in your fireside chat. So I wanted to make sure that while we've got you, maybe you could answer and settle a few questions that I have about this bottle, because there's some unique qualities to this. And we know that you're not with Kentucky Owl anymore, but we figured that you may be able to shed some light on some questions that we have about this. And then Grease and I are going to drink it and give a little review. And then we're going to get to the meat of the discussion as well.
And we have
some questions from patrons that
I had one thing to include in that, and this goes to show that this show is very important, or us at least leading with this, because I've gotten a few texts that says, oh my gosh, Dixon did another bourbon.
Yeah,
because they thought you leaving was like the Kentucky Owl brand is done. Then there's a Kentucky Owl Batch 11 bourbon that comes out, and there's some confusion there. Can you help us?
Yeah. So right off the bat, batch 10 your final bourbon batch at Kentucky Owl, or did you have your hands in batch 11?
Yeah. So the last bourbon batch that I had anything to do with was batch 10. It's kind of funny if you look at that bottle, there's a signature on there, and they've done a good job of kind of keeping the way I wrote my name, but then changing the S and D to C and M.
Well,
So
just be careful. That is a C and M, as in your ancestor.
right.
Grease thought it said A-N-N.
Yeah, I thought it said
Ann
Anna.
Dedman.
I
So
said-
he thought
Yeah.
maybe a sister or someone
That
took
was my
over.
aunt, but I don't think she had much to do with that.
Dude,
Okay.
you had an
Okay.
Aunt Ann?
I
Everyone
did.
has an Aunt
I did.
Ann,
Dude,
Grease. That's literally the most common aunt name.
Now, I think it's very important for me anyway. Like right out of the gate to like I'm not interested in kind of throwing shade or whatever. I had a great relationship. I had these great partners, and then we partnered with Stolen, and that was a really great thing. And so we parted ways on I would say artistic differences, and some stuff like that. I don't wish them ill will. Like I don't want any. I hope whatever they choose to do or what they do and all that stuff. I hope it's uber successful. I
Right.
just there were things that we reached a place where we didn't see eye to eye, and it got to a point where I just needed to kind of go and go a different direction or find something else. So I am not a harbinger of ill will. I got no, there's no stick in my craw, as they say, or anything like that. But it has been very interesting, and I think people that I know, people that I'm comfortable with, people that whatever, like they understand that I have left and gone on. But industry wide and from distributor perspectives and some of the bigger stuff, like it's not it has it's not that, I don't know, widely known or whatever. So it is kind of interesting how, as they release this, how much I get of what kind of what is this, what's this about, what when and
Yeah, because there was no press release, Dixon.
right,
Like, I mean, I guess they don't want to release anything that could hurt the brand. And you leaving is probably a big
I think
hurt.
they're kind of in a
Conundrum.
Nicely put. They're in a spot. Maybe they're in between agencies or in between groups, or whatever. But I don't think they. I don't think from a PR and marketing perspective, they're exactly firing on all cylinders. So you would think that when you release something, you would kind of have something out there and talk about what it is and what it means and what's going on. But to answer your question, Will, like, yes, the last things I did, I did the dry state, which was kind of a weird but a really fun project. I did the rye number 4, which was the last of the ryes, and then I did batch 10. But those were my those were kind of my last releases there. I didn't that 11 and I'm not even sure it's in Kentucky. I think it's in other states. I'm not even sure it has yet made it to Kentucky. But I actually, I had nothing to do with that. That was not.
Well, we've got some questions.
Yeah, we have some questions, even though you had nothing to do with the whiskey inside. But you did say there were some artistic differences. Maybe, perhaps that's the way you phrased it. So there's a couple things that we noticed that we want to ask about. And the first thing is that I have to ask, this is kind of about the faux tack strip up the top. Now, there's been this cork strip on many of the releases. It's not like a new thing to have a cork strip. But on this one, it says anniversary batch number 11. Do you know what the anniversary of batch 11 is?
Well, because on batch 10, you guys had anniversary batch number 10.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that just
I didn't.
signifying an annual release?
I didn't know what anniversary we were celebrating with batch 10, but they thought that since we got to 10, it was a real big deal. So we call it anniversary batch 10. And I guess I don't know, maybe it's worth I mean, if you're going to celebrate one thing, celebrate another, right? So maybe
Sure, yeah. Every year is technically an
I
anniversary,
think
right?
I think maybe batch 11 is
That was the successful
anniversary
word.
of batch 10. I'm not.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, technically, this is 2021, so I don't really know what.
I mean, after last year, we can all be grateful that we've reached another year. I think that's probably.
I think that's probably what they're celebrating.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I love the fact that they circled up and they were like, you know what worked for us last year?
It was everything about batch 10 that
Yeah,
really brought it together was that it was an anniversary.
It's our anniversary,
right? Yeah, that worked pretty good. So we're
Dude,
just gonna do that again.
Let it rip, or they just open up the template.
I screw up my anniversary every year.
That's fair.
I mean, I so maybe it's every year is an anniversary. I cannot tell you what this might be the anniversary of.
That's great. That's great. Really cool, Dixon. I've got another question. And this is, so they've added like this little thing down here that's like, oh yeah, let's do that. They didn't handwrite, they didn't add that personal touch, which we have grown to love with Kentucky Owl. That's one of my favorite things. It's like of all the releases, you and a couple other people, I think, have literally just handwritten all of the bottle numbers and everything.
We did a lot of it. I was that was another one I got a lot. It's like, why didn't they number the bottles? And I don't.
Well, you know why? I heard there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was really cool. One of my favorite stories, I've told you all this a million times, but like when we were handwriting batch 1, I messed up this number like so bad, and like kind of marked over it and scribbled it, and we were in a crunch, and so so Sherry was just like, let it go, just let it go, it'll be fine, whatever. And this guy, like 2 or 3 years later, shows up and he was like, I got this bottle, and the numbers, it looks like some 8-year-old just kind of like goofballed around with the numbers on this thing. It's all scribbled. And I was like, oh my gosh, that bottle has been driving me crazy for years. It's bottle 969 of batch 1. I'll never forget it. It's driven me crazy. This guy had it. I was like, I'll give you 3 bottles for that one, just so I can have it and know it's out. And he was like, no, not now. Not that I know that it's like,
right.
It has
too strong of an offer there, Dixon. You should just say, I'll do 1 for 1.
He's like, no, I have this. I have the bottle you want. Like, I have the bottle that I have the bottle, and
1 ring to rule them all.
The numbering thing always. I just think that's kind of cool. I'm sorry they didn't do that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But there's a couple of key words on here that I just wanted to talk to you about. One is what is original cask and single batch? Do you know what these words mean?
Like, is that a TTB designation, or
is that
a style of whiskey?
Are we talking about like original cask? Would that be like a single barrel, but then it's a single batch? Or just saying like it hasn't been rebarreled? Or yeah. So
I have a feeling that that they were looking for some placeholders maybe, and those. I mean, what does that mean? What does single batch mean?
That's what we were asking.
Well, but it's the anniversary batch.
Well, it's batch 11 that is a single batch. So okay. So that's I guess I don't know about that. And then what is it? Original cask.
It's original cask single batch. Yeah.
So original cask. Yeah. Clearly that means that it has not been in another cask, because
or like a knockoff.
So it's not finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that that's got to be what that means.
Okay, so some more, since we're talking about words, I always like to read the back label of whiskeys. I like the story, if it's made up or not. It's always fun to see what people put on there, what people in the marketing department decide to write up. That's fun. So this struck me because it's Dixon's drinking. He just shot his whiskey. So I'm just curious about what this means. I didn't know if it was tied to like some family legacy or something like that, because I'll just read it. Okay, so it says, every batch of Kentucky Owl straight bourbon whiskey encompasses its artisan traditions and heritage from Charles M. Dedman, comma, using modern world techniques to ensure the product remains outstanding, comma, through the test of time.
Wait, what's that stuff that they ate? Not Solera method. What's that thing? I always get it mixed up.
Solera method's a thing.
I know, no, but it's the quick aging thing.
TerraPure.
TerraPure. So this is TerraPure.
Modern world.
World.
Can you shed any light? I mean, it says every batch.
So that
would include Dixon's batches,
allegedly.
I don't think, at least to my knowledge, in all the ones I did, we didn't use any modern world technology. Or what was it?
It says modern world techniques to ensure the product remains outstanding, comma, through the test of time.
Yeah, so I don't know, and that almost actually makes me think that that sounds like a preservative, right? You made something that,
yeah, I don't
20 years from now it's going to taste that. I don't really know about that. I know that at one point they were really excited about doing some stuff with some rick houses that were going to actually rotate the barrels. Like the barrels were going to be in constant rotation. Like that was a dream. I don't know that. Well, I do know that they haven't haven't done that because they haven't, but I don't know what those techniques are.
All right.
I can tell you that when I made those blends, we used very old world techniques in terms of, you put barrels in a rick house and you let them age, and then as they age, you taste them, and then you pull them out and you blend them and you put them into something. So I don't exactly know.
The only thing I think of when I read that, Dixon, is the pyramids.
Yeah, that could be it.
They were they're super into pyramids,
like pyramid schemes.
No, okay. Stoley's like Kentucky Owl Park or whatever it was going to be.
Got it.
Could be it. That could be it.
All right.
So
they're not there yet. They're not. The pyramids are still a ways off from what I understand. But maybe just the just the enthusiasm behind them. I
thought it was an interesting choice also too, that it says whiskey and whiskey right side by side. It's like right under each other, EY and just the Y.
Yeah.
And I feel like
stylistic choices.
Yeah, it's just that's more of an international overseas spelling. Makers,
they're going global, man. They're going global.
But I thought it was like Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
Cork hung on. So Dixon, thank you for indulging us with that and filling us in as much as you could on some of the details and for clarifying some of the things for us. We really appreciate it.
Well, I don't feel like I clarified anything.
You clarified what we needed to know.
Yeah,
that's what we need to know.
We actually just needed to get it out there.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us for that portion.
It'll be great to see, what they do. I hope they, I think they have a vision, and it was not mine, but they have one, and maybe whatever, it could be the thing.
So what we kind of teased out and everything, and what we want to kind of give you also some opportunity to talk about is when we had you on stage at Whiskey Weekend Batch 3, you had just announced you were leaving Kentucky Owl, and we had a little bit of fun with you saying like, well, next year,
this has been fun.
Yeah, we had a good ride with you. Next year, you're probably not going to have anything to offer, so we don't know if we'll be inviting you back. But you assured us that, you said, next year I'll have something to share with you. I'll be able to have some fun and be able to enjoy these fine folks. And you always are a blast to hang out with. You're always so gracious to our podcasters at the events. You've been the most wonderful host at the Inn, Beaumont Inn. If everyone is not familiar with that, you should be, and you should be staying there and being a patron of that fine establishment that has a special place in our hearts and every podcaster's heart. But
for those listening right now, Dixon, like what does a tasting with you at the Inn cost?
You just interrupted my question.
I know.
I asked you to. We're going to get to the plug.
I know. I wanted to plug the Inn right here.
I know, but
because people are watching.
I actually printed out a document saying maybe Grease could not. I was actually just reading a question. I was verbatim reading it, and he said, "Hey, got a better idea. Take the train."
Well, he could have already answered.
All right, Dixon, answer Grease's question.
Yeah, right now I do them for $80 a person.
Oh my gosh, Grease. And it's 5 pours.
It's the most. It's one of the most fun experiences tasting.
Can we get back to Will's question? I really like. I feel like that.
It's an insane value, Dixon.
So everyone go to the Inn and support Dixon in that way as well. But so we joked that you may not have anything to contribute. You said you would. So we are getting a little nervous. April is around the corner when we're having Whiskey Weekend. Grease and I are in the thick of planning things. We wanted to know, have you made any headway on working on some things that you may be able to share at said Whiskey Weekend Batch 4?
So, and this is kind of funny because I feel like this is a lot more, as you would say, Grease, this is a lot more dadgum formal than it should be.
Well, we haven't been drinking enough. Yeah,
I know. And I realized we were trying to navigate sensitive waters or whatever. But I will tell you, there are a few times in my life I've had more fun than I've had at your events. And that actually, it goes back to the Southern Whiskey Society events when we hung out for the first time and all that stuff. I mean, and so it's still kind of weird and funny and odd, and you give me a chance to be there, you give me a chance to hang out, I'm in, and doing those things down in in your neck of the woods were great. Having you all for 2 years at the Inn was phenomenal. I mean, it's still. I was at the grocery store 2 days ago, and a guy that used to work for me, who no longer works for me, but I saw him in the grocery store, talked to him forever, And when he walked away, I realized that, he was wearing his hat backwards. But when he walked away, I saw the podcast, like he was wearing a podcast hat. You know what I mean? Like it, so I've, I have enjoyed, this group, your group, being a part of this group, tasting with this group, drinking with this group, telling lies with this group, weirdly and oddly enough, crying with this group, hearing about people who are having kids or getting married or whatever. Like it's so I don't know, if I've got nothing to give next April, I will be there. I'll be Nathan's assistant. I will cart whiskey around. I will do whatever, whatever. But I do think that, by that time I will be able to talk, about and share, some pretty exciting projects, that I have or am working on or have moving forward.
Are you currently in the whiskey game building towards something?
So yeah, on a couple different fronts, and to be 100% honest with you, I kind of like when I left, or when I parted ways with Kentucky Owl, I thought, okay, this will be cool. Um, I'll find some different stuff to keep me busy, stuff to work on, and they came really fast, like hard and fast, and then, to be honest, half of them were like cool projects to work on, and half of them were, hey, we think if you came and helped us, we could sell our company for $1 bajillion. And the sell our company for $1 bajillion seemed very inauthentic, and it wasn't really, it didn't really, make sense for me. But some of the others have been very fun. There's a group here in Lexington, or in Kentucky, called RD1 and William Tarr, and so they've got this blend of bourbon and rye that's out there, and I've kind of helped them. I'm gonna help them blend a couple bourbons, and so that's a fun project. There are a couple other ones that I'm working with, but I didn't leave Kentucky Owl, to just pretend like those were my finest days. I really left because I feel like there's a lot of things that I would still like to accomplish, a lot of things that I would still like to do. And, I also, in general, and like in life, feel like that things if things fall in your lap, if they're super easy, if all the, if everything lines up right out of the gate, it's, it never works out. Like it's not, it's not, you have to be successful, you have to, I don't mean to say struggle, but there are things that you have to go through. Like you have to, you have to navigate the good and the bad, and find what's right. And so I had all these things in my mind that I want to accomplish, these things I want to do, these things I want to, these goals that I had, that for one reason or another we didn't see eye to eye on. And I think the last, I don't know, 3, 4, 6 months, have been really like a lot of a struggle, but also think, we're making such headway and like such progress towards something that I think is going to help me, are going to, we're making inroads into really those goals and the things that I would really like to do, the things I'd like to offer, the things that I really hoped that I could do for a long time. So, long answer to your short question. Yes, I'm still doing it. Yes, I'm still working towards it. And, every day I think about, sometimes I feel like, you keep taking a couple steps back or having to work towards this or having to, but they end up being small steps towards the goal. And the goal shouldn't be easy. The goal and getting there should be hard, because it wouldn't be worth it if you didn't have to work for it. So I'm kind of really invigorated and excited about getting close to being able to really, put that, I don't want to say the hammer down, but really start to move.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Like you're really close to hammering it down. I'm just like, as a fan.
Well, I was going to say also, you said there was a lot of goals that you maybe had that you weren't able to accomplish. No, you accomplished a heck of a lot while with Kentucky.
No. Both very fair questions.
Combining that, what's a goal that you want to, what's a goal you want to accomplish?
No, 100%. Very fair questions. And I guess what I mean by that, and you guys know me, like, you know me well enough to know that, and I'm not trying to throw shade. Like, I think I'm a, whatever they say, rising tide raises all boats, but,
I've said that to you before.
I know, but I don't know what it means. What does that mean?
What's good for, if the rising tide lifts all boats, meaning like if
it's good for everybody.
If bourbon is good, it's good for everybody, because then it helps everyone if it's popular.
Right. That's especially the government that taxes it.
100%. Rising tide.
Well, all boats. The idea, my friend Matt, is I agree. Edit that. But again, I'm not comfortable and not going to, and it's just not, it's not what I would like to do, to just start some brand and buy somebody's juice, put it in my bottle, and call it mine.
Right. That's a lot of people's models.
Yeah. And I just don't, that doesn't work for me. It's fine, whatever. But I like, and I think it's not because think I'm better or whatever. I really enjoy kind of the creative and artistic part of developing profiles and creating something and blending something and whatever. So when I decided to put this team together and go in the direction that I think we're going, the one thing that I didn't want to do was to buy some juice, put it in a bottle, and then have to turn around and try to like find more juice behind it and whatever. I wanted to have, and I'm in creating what I hope is an 8 to 10 to 12 year liquid strategy, liquid program, both new fills and whatever, and really lay it out so that I don't run into that in year 2 where I'm like, oh shit, we just got to go buy some more stuff and put I want to be able to get the stuff. I want to spend time with it, a year, year and a half, 2 years, get it where I want it to be, start releasing things, but I want to have it backloaded, so that we're not at the mercy of the market. We're not at the mercy of, oh, well, we can't get this, but you can. I don't want to do that. Like I like knowing that everything that I've put out there that has my name on it, that is, it's something that I really had a hand in developing and curating and creating and whatever.
Right.
And
yeah,
so
you're all about legacy. You always have been about legacy. That's why you're not swooping into another company right now and saying, "Hey, I'll fix this. Let's make some money and then we're out," because it's going to be sold to another company and you may or may not go with it. I get that. You're a legacy man. Your name's on the bottle. Your grandfather's name's on the bottle, or is it great grandfather?
great, but
Great,
I
great.
mean,
Double great.
you haven't
double great.
you haven't
Super
reviewed
great.
that one yet.
But what I'm reading through the lines is that Dixon Dedman, the great great grandson, has stock around 8, 10, and 12 years right now.
well, I don't have much over 8.
You don't have much over 8?
I don't.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fair. Literally you just left Stoli like 6 months ago. That makes sense. Okay, so let's just say Dixon Dedman's got 8-year-old juice, right? And I understand that it's not ready for what you have plans for it, because Dixon, you always think big. 1, 2, you never release something that you're not 100% behind, because with your name being on it, legacy being the backbone of who you are and who your family line has always been, you're not going to release something that's not ready. So we might not see this for the next 4 years. However, what does the future look like? What are you dreaming about? Natalie, who it's one of our patrons, one of our dear friends, the Natalie, okay? She posted a question on her Patreon about basically like, what does the future look like? What is inspiring Dixon Dedman? Okay, so that's the big question. Look, we know you're not coming out with a product this year. Will we probably get to try some at Whiskey Weekend Batch 4? I don't know.
If the cards are right.
I mean, I feel like we could appreciate 8-year-old juice, regardless of
I've appreciated a lot less.
Right. I've drilled into a barrel before and I've just been like, I don't think so. But here's the deal, Dixon. I want to know what's inspiring you, and I want to know what the future looks like. Like, what does that model look like? Let's just say Dixon Dedman, master blender of whiskey, who has an incredible brand that he sold to Stoli and still worked out and curated and crushed it, now has acquired stock that's not yet ready. What does that look like when it is ready?
So, three points there. One, Will, did he just get really aggressive, or was that just me? I'm sorry.
He did, and one of my rules for him was don't ask statements. And he's
Yeah, was that?
No, he got very clever. He gave a very long statement and then put a 3-word question. It's kind of like when you give something, then you go, your thoughts.
No,
right?
He's already talked about legacy. He's already talked about the year of the juice. And he said he had 8 years.
I like his
that
passion.
was a little bit of the.
I like his passion.
No, I agree. There was this WWE thing.
It's a DDT out of nowhere.
Dixon.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
don't make this about me, Dixon.
Second point, Natalie, who you mentioned.
He threw that in there because he knew you'd give us an answer if we invoked her name. So,
well, I tell a story about her all the time because I love the art. I love building whiskeys. I love creating whiskeys, blending whiskeys. And I build them because of the way they sit on, they feel, like the way they feel. And the worst part about it always was at the end of it when people are like, okay, we need the tasting notes. And I don't know if it was batch 1 or batch 2 Whiskey Weekend, but I was like, hey, you're really good at these tasting notes. Could you taste these things and write them down for me? And basically totally, so once I get this next thing going, Natalie, you are in charge of tasting notes for all the things that, I'm happy to, please, if you're willing, you're hired. And then thirdly, Grease, wrestler, high intensity Grease.
It's the Botox in the forehead that sent him over, but it's good.
Wow. Okay. So
I would glare at you right now, but I can't push my eyebrows together.
yeah. Well, those wrinkles are going the other way.
Yeah.
That's weird. They're popping out.
What is that?
Keep going.
No, I mean, I think again, I'm trying to not get myself in trouble, and that's hard for me. But I truthfully, I got this great group of people that are really invested in what we're gonna do, and it's really remarkable to have people who have these like talents and abilities that kind of can support what I don't know whatever nonsense that I may or may not be able to do, but they kind of believe in what we're the goal and what we're trying to accomplish, and they believe in, and they think we just it's really neat to be kind of in a small boat with some people who are all really excited about the journey you're about to go on. And I'm really excited, and really what what excites me and what really motivates me is the ability and opportunity to be kind of back steering the ship again, and having having a lot more creative and creative control. And I think maybe whether it's bourbon, whether it's whatever, like I'm not very well suited for big corporate, whatever. I'm passionate, and if this strikes me a certain way, this is where I want to go, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I think is right, and this is what I think works. I think that served me very, very, very well with Kentucky Owl in its inception. I think it served me very well for the first couple years with Kentucky Owl. The ability to, I think, have somewhat of an understanding of, I don't know. I mean, I'm a whiskey guy. This is what I'd like to see. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go make that. I'm going to go make this cool blend. I'm going to go make this barrel. What is not out there that I could do that's cool? I've told you this is going to get me in trouble. I know this is going to get me in trouble, but I dreamed of not doing a barrel program, but doing a blending program. Of not doing, come in and select a barrel, but come in and let's put 3 or 4 barrels together and blend them, and then this can be the blend that we made together. Those types of little customized blends, little I mean, those are the things that really, that's what excites me about having real control again. It's not one, kind of one piece of this much bigger machine. I don't know how well the machine was working, but but being able to kind of really say, like this next thing, yeah. I mean, if y'all said, hey, for batch whatever 7, we want to come, we want to, we want to create our own blend, and we'll get samples of 12 barrels and we'll make this blend and have it bottled and put, like we can do that. Like that's what's fun. Like that, finding out what's cool and what works and like, that's what's fun. Yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm. I do want to call out 2 people in the chat that asked, have we learned anything yet? And someone replied with nope, that they clearly haven't been watching. So we're reading between the lines. But thank you all for playing along at home. Because I think we just learned some stuff.
That's been the biggest thing. And Dixon, I've asked you this 500 times. I was like, Dixon, can we pick a single barrel of Kentucky Ale? That's all I want to do. So,
and what Dixon said is they aren't single barrels anymore, Grease. That was a few of them were.
He's saying that they could be. He's saying, why not? He has creative control now. That's what he's saying.
Look, let me just tell you, this is not this has nothing to do with Kentucky Ale. Okay, this has absolutely nothing to do with Kentucky Ale.
Right. Correct.
But
Grease did misspeak for a
let's just
in the
say
way he was describing.
No. I was saying when you were with Kentucky Ale, I would call you.
I don't know, but what I'm about to tell you has nothing to do with Kentucky Ale. It's not a reference to Kentucky Ale.
He's foreshadowing.
Right. But if you were to go to somebody who sources barrels and whatever, and then really they rely on their ability to blend and create whatever, most of the time the powers that be are going to say, no, like we're not doing any single barrel stuff, because then those people are just going to kind of figure out that barrel is just from X, Y, or Z, and it's not ours, and whatever. And so I always, we didn't do any. I never pushed for a single barrel with Kentucky Ale, because it's the blending. It's the art of taking all these different distillates. I'm just not. I think it's fun. People do it. They do a great job with it. It's it's their thing. But I kind of feel like there's something slightly inauthentic about just saying, okay, I bought that barrel and now I say it's my barrel, and then I'm going to sell it to you as a single barrel and put my label on it. You can say it's yours, but I didn't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Until I have my own.
I mean, unless you age it underneath the Beaumont Inn.
Right. But until I have my own barrels that I have, now we're going to do a single barrel program, but I'm going to start the double barreling process again. So we're going to start putting liquid in new, I love that. I love playing with different char levels and, all that stuff. But
these are some big nuggets.
Yeah. I just think there's so many things that you can do and have fun with, and then you open them up to programs. They're not single barrel programs. They're small batch programs, little batch programs. You guys will come in. We'll taste 6 barrels. We'll find 2 of them. We'll put 80% of this barrel with 20% of this barrel and bottle it at 108 proof, and you'll love it. Whatever. Like those are the kind of things that. I mean, that's fun. Like it's really fun to create something that, from two different things, and you can say, this is mine. We made this.
So, who gets to do that first, Dixon? And do you accept monetary
down payments?
Yeah. Like,
I'll talk
for instance, like, I mean, can we do this? Can Bourbon Junkies do this? Can ADHD Whiskey do this? Can St. Louis Whiskey Society do this? Can, you know what I mean? Like, what is, I feel, so the only question I have is, and you know about this system, it's just odd. It's awkward. It's with the distribution of the product, like, because Beaumont Inn had, like, does it go through that, or, and you're able to?
No. This will go.
Okay. So it will go through the regular distribution chain, and
Right.
but will they allocate, like, how do you jump through those hoops of like, oh no, that state's gotten too many of these and too many of that and all this other stuff, and we're gonna have to pull half of this stock for this other place. You know what I mean? Like, it just gets funky sometimes.
Yeah, no, it does. It gets totally funky, and based on our conversation the other day, Will, I mean, I still got you for yours. That's outside of Greece. Like, I still got you for that. And then,
you know what? My face is on the bottle. That's all I care about.
So is mine.
And then
you're right.
Idiot.
You just look like a mad
Let him
tiger.
talk.
You look like a mad
Let
tiger.
Let him talk.
Yeah, no, I got you. Like, we'll do that. We'll
Yeah.
do our thing outside of this, and then of course ADHD. I mean, that's my guy. Like that.
Right.
Oh,
Naturally.
I mean, I just want to hug him.
Right.
I want to see him hug a barrel.
Beagle Rare.
Dang it.
All right. So Dixon, thank you for that. We're going to get to a couple quick patron questions before we go. I think you gave us some fun content there and some fun things to look forward to for the future.
Well, I can't see the comments because
No. I'm going to read them.
I know.
We got to print it.
I don't even know how to get on the Chrome earlier or whatever.
That's fair.
But
that's
the
fair.
Chrome.
And then I have to run to Kroger's here in just a little bit.
Facebooks.com.
I do.
What year were you born, Dixon? I mean,
35.
We're
1935.
I'm really sorry for whoever said that they didn't learn anything. I can't drop a whole lot just yet.
I feel like you drop. I feel like you dropped a lot.
It's fine. People can go home. The first question is from Jordan Ferguson. He's a patron of ours. Thank you, Jordan. It says, what's the oldest whiskey you've used in one of your Kentucky Owl blends?
Man, this is a great question.
So the oldest would have been in dry state. I used I think there were 3 barrels that were almost 17 years old. They were freaking monsters. And
weren't they high proof too?
Oh, like 148, 149.
Oh my gosh, 17.
And it was funny. I had some guys at the end, and I was digging around for something cool, and I still have a bunch of samples of that stuff.
And just for clarity, they weren't light whiskeys.
No,
right?
No.
I said just for. I know they weren't.
Right. It says Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey on it.
I know.
You talked about legacy and you're insulting the man. So this is from
I'm the poor man's man.
This is from our patron Nick Lovin. And he said, what's your favorite budget bourbon you drink?
That's the question that everybody gets all the time, right? And the budget bourbon has changed. I feel like the budget bourbon changes every 3 months because people get onto something and they get onto something, they get onto something.
Everything is say right now.
I will tell you that, like, I do enjoy I like a little bit of spice, I like a little bit of it's probably not going to be popular with Grease. You're probably going to throw a fit, I'm sure. But like that just the old, Bullet 10-year-old small batch.
Yeah.
Like I I think that's a very, very drinkable bourbon that is now starting to get harder to find. But budget. I used to do those tastings at the end. I used to do a $25 tasting on profiles, and the weeded bourbon I used was Lot B.
What?
And so I mean, that's how far
How much
budget
it's
bourbon
changed. Yeah.
has it changed. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this will probably be our final question, because a lot of these
Final
actually you covered.
countdown.
And those that are patrons, by the way, we do have an after party, and we'll post that link here in just a second.
So this is from Nate Weedle, and I hope I'm saying your name right, but I know he's watching currently, so I definitely wanted to get to this one. And he says, and this is very similar, and so this can just be anything. Just, first thing that comes to mind, your favorite bourbon that you didn't blend.
Like all time.
Yeah, let's go for it. Doesn't even have to be like available. Just what's the best thing you've ever had? First thing that comes to mind. Don't think
God, I mean, I think I've had a few experiences where I've tasted things that I thought they were out of this world. The Hearst 16-year gold foil, that's just another level. Not a bourbon, but I had some of those, and I actually was lucky enough to try them both side by side. But like the Willet 24-110 rye, that was a pretty special pour. Some of those old turkeys, dusty stuff, great. Four Roses 125 is still in my memory bank. Something very special. Parker's Heritage, Promise of Hope. That's one that.
Gosh, that one
was really.
He had that with Paul Steele, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really big for me. So those would be like the unicorn stuff or whatever. But there's some random. Like I still have a bottle. I'll never forget the time we picked it, because Jamie's wife was like, "I love this barrel." It was an OBSO Four Roses that we picked several years ago, and I have one bottle left, and I don't know when I'll open it, but it is one of the finest Four Roses private selections. I mean, it is just gorgeous.
Is that the one we had in the tasting at
No.
At one of the whiskey weekends? You
No,
pulled out a Four Roses that was from one of those picks.
Yeah, this thing is. I have one left. It's got this navy blue label on it, and it's just. I keep hoping there's another one. Like I find another one in a back of a closet somewhere or something like that. But.
Well, Dixon, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing some things. Thank you for clearing up some things for us. Everyone needs to be following Dixon and everything he does, and go to the Beaumont Inn, eat some ham, some yellow-legged fried chicken.
BEAUMONT.
Yeah, Beaumont Inn. Stay there. It'll be a memorable experience. Do a tasting with Dixon.
The whiskey list pricing is insane.
He is one of the most hospitable people that I've ever met, and is amazing. So make sure you go.
If you don't, I would. If you don't mind for just a second, I thank you two for this opportunity and for constantly and always kind of supporting me and being advocates on my behalf, and I cannot tell you what that means to me. I also, to be completely honest, I don't know. When we met the last time or the first time, I was I was still a dishwasher and a busboy, and this morning I did tile work and some different stuff. So it is very it's just funny to that times y'all make such a big deal about Dixon, and I just really I really appreciate that, personally, and knowing you all the way that I do, that that life is just life, and it's kind of I just really appreciate y'all understanding and helping me through, helping me get, I don't know, into the transition of the next thing. But also I really would like to figure out a way to do some cool stuff together, and do some more stuff with this group and your group, and how we can, how we can make those barrels happen, and I'll bring some stuff to your little, to the party in April.
Love it. Dixon, I'm going to remove you from this because there is one thing that we didn't do, and I think it would not be fair to you to have you on screen when we do it. And we always do a buy bar pass rating on the whiskey we try. And we tried batch 11, and Drew Bolin has asked, he's like, come on, folks, batch 11, terrible or no? So, like, we have to give our rating, our buy bar pass, but we don't.
No, do that. Absolutely. And then
I'll
you
shoot
tell me
you
what I need to do. But also, the last thing I'll say is, thank you both, but thank you to, the podcast army and whatever. I'm just so appreciative of of that group, and the friendships and the people there. So look forward to the next chance to drink some whiskey with that group. So y'all do your thing.
Yeah, we'll send you a link for the after party here in about 3 minutes. Okay.
Like it.
All right. If you're
he's already got Chrome downloaded,
you can still be a patron. You've got time to sign up if you want to do the after party. It's not public, so it's going to be a little bit more loose. Right. And you can tell Dixon's had a few cocktails. So he's still watching. I just saw his.
I know, that was
okay. So
you were so hot during that.
Oh yeah,
I just kept looking. You thought you thought I was hot because I didn't say a lot.
No, you did great. You did great. I appreciate it. All right, so buy bar pass on batch 11. So what we did was we actually poured it, and then we tried it, and then we poured batch 10 next to it, which is not fair.
It's not fair.
Okay, so honest feelings on this, and the MSRP is $300.
It's the same.
So
it's the same. It's Robitussin.
I don't get that. I get a heavy oak nose, very heavy oak nose.
Yeah, no, the nose is fine.
And then I taste it, and you know what?
Got the Robitussin.
It's 118 proof. It is not a bad whiskey.
No,
there's a chocolate finish. It is not a $300 whiskey.
No.
And when you try it next to batch 10,
I mean,
that was the worst thing we could have done for it. Was try it next to batch 10, because this is what it feels like. And this is not without knowledge of anything. This feels like a mass produced high proof whiskey, not like, but just like a big blend of high proof whiskey. And batch 10 has character. It has, like Dixon said, when he builds a blend, it has the different mouthfeel, the different experience to it. This did not.
And we know they've got decent stocks. I mean, like Dixon it's not like he didn't know what was coming next year.
Right.
He just didn't blend it. And there's a there's a process behind that.
And that's the thing.
Takes a lot of talent.
I would not say that this is a bad whiskey. It's pretty one-dimensional. It's
when you taste batch 10.
I know it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, because if you went to a party and you poured that blind, if you poured batch 11 blind at a party, it would be favorable.
Mhm.
People would like it. They would say, "Oh, there's character to it. There's a lot of oak," but it doesn't have the love behind it. I feel like that
Yeah.
Batch 10, and this is obviously Dixon's a good friend of ours. We've done a lot with
Right.
him. We love him. We love what he does. But I would take out, because when I first tried it,
I would say we're being honest.
it is not bad. It is
Right.
not a bad whiskey.
It
Takes a lot to get me to it's very difficult to get me to a $300 price point on almost anything.
right.
And I mean, $100, $100 whiskey, it could be $100 whiskey. If you put it next to like a Booker's or something, that's about $100.
You said it exactly right though. It's just so one dimensional.
It's one dimensional.
Literally,
It's a lot of oak
hits,
and proof.
and it goes, and you're done. When you smell and taste the batch 10 that we just did side by side, it's literally like you're just like, holy crap! Oh gosh, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the rating scale that we had was by bar pass, but we added during the last year the borrow. I'd rated a borrow. If someone's got it, try to taste it. Try to
Gideon Bowley has it.
Yeah, go
Borrow
find
it from
Gideon. Go find our buddy Gideon and try it. It's definitely not worth the $300 price tag though. I can't tell someone go buy that.
Mhm.
So, but it's
at $300. I'm a
bad
pass.
whiskey.
Are you a borrow?
I said I'm a borrow.
I'm a pass.
All
I
right.
have to pass.
Cool.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not bad, but based on the $300 price point, it's not. There's no complexity.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and for you listening on the podcast feed. Rate and review us on iTunes. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to this channel. Give us a thumbs up on this video. Ring the bell so you get notifications. And
I can't wait for
if you
our
want
OG listeners.
If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/thepodcast. We appreciate it. We don't know Jack,
But we'll drink it.
bye everyone.